When I was 15 years old, when I got this job, I said to myself, I am going to work here until the day that I kill myself. And, hello, I'm still here, so I must be happy, right?
I had me a vision. There wasn't any television. But looking into the
How's it going, everybody? This is Shaun.
And Sarah.
And welcome to my future husband Facebook, episode 19.
What?
19 episodes. That's one away from 20.
Ooh, we should do like an extravaganza for the 20th.
For the 20th extravaganza podcast.
Yeah.
What should we do?
I don't know. Maybe we'll just do like a theme or something.
Only talk about James Bond movies.
Actually, yes. Let's do a James Bond 20th episode because we've been watching all the James Bond movies.
Well, we are. We're in the process. Sarah very kindly got me for Christmas the 50 Years of Bond box set. Which is a pretty sweet box set.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. The book form.
Yeah, and it comes all the way through, goes all the way to Skyfall. So we've been watching them in order.
From Dr. No.
Yeah, and I definitely have some thoughts. That'd be actually a fun
Yeah,
discussion.
so for episode 20, that's what we should do.
They're definitely really interesting to be, like, objective about and watch them when you're older. Like, watching them...
When you're younger.
When I'm younger, there's what I mean is just, like, now... And I have always, but, like, now more than ever, just because of the blog and stuff, I tend to think about movies a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of construction and, like, how things work and stuff, like, just the mechanics of filmmaking beyond just entertainment, anyways. But, and there's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about with those early James Bond films, because we're up to Thunderball. Gotta finish Thunderball.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty honest too. I'm gonna be pretty honest too.
Wait,
it was also...
We are not going to be discussing our thoughts.
No, I would say it's a gift for myself as well.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Well,
so it was kind of a selfish thing.
I got Sarah a 3DS for Christmas, and I have used her 3DS.
So we kind of got things we both benefit from.
Yeah. I'll be honest, though. I'm not, like... When I bought that for you, I never thought I would really care about it.
What?
And I still kind of don't, because it's not really anything on there that I really...
Then you really don't need to beat Zelda, and we don't need to get Star Fox, and we don't need to get the Metal Gear Solid.
I don't want the Metal Gear Solid. And if I never... But that's the thing, like, if I never beat Zelda, I'd be okay with it. Like, I like that game.
Who am I marrying?
But I'd be okay with it. Anyways, moving on.
Who am I marrying? Oh my god.
The new Zelda's pretty sweet, though.
It's fantastic. I highly recommend it.
A Link Between Worlds is works great as like an homage to A Link to the Past. Actually, in Japan, it is just called A Link to the Past 2.
Huh.
Or whatever. No, not A Link to the Past, because it has a slightly different name in Japan. But whatever, like, their equivalent of whatever A Link to the Past, it just has a number 2 at the end of it. It's not called, like, A Link Between Worlds, which is obviously a reference to A Link to the Past, because it's a similar title.
There's even references to the even other Zelda games within it, like Majora's Mask.
Even though that makes no fucking sense. But, like, they're there just because
it's a nod for fans. This is a game definitely made for fans.
Yeah, it's a game for people people have been waiting for this style of Zelda game
for a long
since
time.
A Link to the Past, because they have refused to make one for whatever reason. I'm sure they have some reasons.
Yeah, I don't know. Stupid reasons.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, but
that was our holiday.
So yeah, that's kind of our Christmas. Nothing too extravagant.
No.
Just extravagant enough.
Just the right amount.
Yes. But we saw a couple movies over the holiday season.
Yep. Which was good for us because we haven't been doing that lately.
Yeah, and this is the time of the year where there's like a lot of all the like the quote unquote prestige movies comes out because they're all trying to get in. You have to have your movie out in like December to be qualified for the Academy Awards.
Yep.
So it has to be by December. A lot of people push it to December 25th, like in the case of Wolf of Wall Street, which is one of the movies we saw. And the other movie we saw was American Hustle.
Two very different crowds in the movie theaters for those movies.
Yes.
Which is surprising to me. I thought we had a much older crowd go to Wolf of Wall Street. I thought that would have drawn a kind of younger crowd, but that was American Hustle.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just surprised.
Yeah, well, I mean... Yeah, because that trailer is very... Like, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, but I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. No, but you're right, because the trailer for Wolf of Wall Street is very youth-oriented in terms of, like, its style and pacing and music choice.
Yep.
Like, Kanye West song, and then they did a Dead Weather song, which is one of Jack White's bands. with the girl from who's the female singer from The Dead Weather? What band is she from?
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, she's a band you like. You were telling me. We were talked about it.
Oh, shit.
They used the song "Hold You Up to the Heavens." That they used that for like the last trailer that came out. But anyways, we'll talk about those movies like always last.
Yes.
But we were away for the holidays, so we haven't really watched a ton of Netflix or television.
No.
We did squeeze a couple things in recently. Partially just because out of I don't know, boredom or whatever.
Yeah.
Or take a little break from James Bond. But we did watch a Netflix documentary.
Yes.
Another documentary. Because Sarah and I we really love documentaries. And anything that has even a slightly interesting, steamingly interesting subject matter, we'll probably watch it.
Yeah.
Also a big fan of a lot of those true crime shows.
Yep. Both of us.
Yeah, so... but we watched a documentary about, it's called Bronies, an unexpected, adult fan base or something like that.
It's a really long...
effect. The main title is Bronies. And so that's just interesting. I just, interested in different types of subcultures and whatnot. That's just something I find fascinating, and even, especially ones I don't understand.
Yes. Bronies.
And bronies would be something I don't understand. But there's a lot of things I don't understand that,
I'm glad you finally admitted that.
that carry over into adult fandoms, being, hardcore fandoms of... you're in a hardcore fandom that I don't really understand.
You shut your mouth.
I am. Transformers, I don't really get it.
Oh, my God.
I don't. Being older, I don't really get it. People of our age demographic still... watching the cartoons and stuff, which is fine. I don't have any problem with it. It's just something I don't understand.
It was awesome to wake up every Sunday and watch Transformers Animated. I'm not going to lie, because it was a fantastic series.
Maybe it was. I don't know. I've never seen it.
Yes, you have. You saw the intro episode.
Oh, yeah. You made me watch that. That's okay. I forgive you. But anyways, Bronies is something that, I do find fascinating, and I wanted to know more about it, because where your brain automatically goes is to the seedier side of what it made part of it. All you think about, 20-somethings to middle-aged men that are perverts. That's what you think about.
Yeah.
That's where your brain immediately goes, because that's where human beings, we're just cynical asshole people.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of is. And when you're outside of that fan base and you don't understand the context, you don't even know what the program really is, you just know kind of the description of it being okay, this is a show for 8-year-old girls.
Yeah, about magical ponies that teach you life lessons.
Life lessons, and it's all about friendship is magic, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic?
Yes.
Yes, okay. See, I don't even know what the fuck it's called.
No, it's, My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, and it's, about 6 ponies, I think. And this is all gathered from this documentary, because I've never watched an episode, because I have no interest in watching My Little Pony.
You have an awareness of it, though.
I wasn't...
For me, there was no reason to immediately, poo-poo it. Because at the same token, say if somebody from outside of the perspective, you like Adventure Time. If somebody were to just poo-poo Adventure Time without...
which people have to me.
Yeah, but people that don't really know anything about it, correct?
Yeah.
So I kind of felt the same way, thinking about My Little Pony.
Yeah.
I was well, maybe there's some, subtle thing about it that makes it click for some people.
Yeah, I never had an interest in it, because even as a kid, I wasn't really into My Little Ponies, so I just kind of was eh.
Yeah. I remember my sister had some of the toys. That's all I really know about it.
That's totally a Megan thing.
Yeah, that was a Megan thing, yeah. So I was just interested in finding out about it. This documentary is not a documentary if you really want to understand it. It's a puff piece for... It's like a commercial for My Little Pony, almost.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
It's not honest. It's full cooperation. I have a feeling the creators are also involved in the making of this documentary.
Well, no, if you looked at the producers at the end of the show, a lot of the voice actors were actually, executive producers of the documentary. Of the documentary,
yeah. Which is fine. I don't have any, real problem with that, but I wish it was more of, an honest perspective on it, because it's obviously very positive.
Yeah, because it was even, kind of narrated and guided by, scenes from the, illustrated scenes, kind of, using characters from the show, and,
Yeah.
So it was definitely made by...
the people who do My Little Pony. Yeah, because the voice actors are involved. John Delancey, the guy who played, Transcendence or something.
No, what was it? I don't.
Some dragon horse guy.
I don't remember. He was a bad guy.
He's a villain in the show, and he did this voice of like a teacher horse, singing a song that was kind of like bringing you onto like the next subject of the documentary.
Yeah,
like these kind of interstitial, like little animated scenes.
And he's in the documentary quite a bit.
Yeah, well, he's from Star Trek.
Yeah, I know.
So I think he's like accustomed to like weird, not quote unquote weird fan bases, or like hardcore fan bases.
Yeah, it's hardcore.
And he's very like friendly. He always has been. He's the kind of guy he'll go to like small conventions and just sign autographs for free and shit like that. He does that kind of stuff. Well, actually, a lot of Star Trek cast members do that kind of stuff. They're actually generally be very appreciative of their fans. They're very cool with their fans.
Burton really is.
He is, yeah. Actually, all of them are.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably from Next Generation on, not so much original series.
Shatner loves attention, though.
Shatner like for a long time had a love-hate thing with the Star Trek for like, years.
That's very true.
Because people wouldn't let it go.
Let it be something else.
Yeah, people.
That's why he turned to music.
But that's what happens when that's what happens when you play as something that like defines a generation or is iconic in some way. And however much I hate like preachy, politically correct shit, like or speaking in those type of terms, like Star Trek for what it was, the original series was extremely. I hate this fucking word, but I'm going to use it. Progressive. It was for a lot of the things that it was doing in television, and a lot of the things, and it was smart because it used science fiction, so it creates a distance to the audience, and they can easier accept like social messages and stuff like acceptance and blah blah blah. So there was a lot of good, and that's why that cast will always be just known as that cast, and because it kind of left a big cultural impact. But anyways.
After that rant.
But yeah, the bronies thing. Like we said, like it's very complimentary to bronies, right?
Yeah.
And brony culture.
Yes.
I see a lot of these kids as... They seem like some of them have a lot of real problems.
That's like they're socially inept.
Yes. And brony cons and stuff like that, those are places they can go where they can see people that have similar interests and makes them it kind of gives you a sense of comfort and stuff
belonging.
like that. And belonging and blah, blah, blah. But those people still have to go back and, like, live a life. And, like, they don't show the negative effect of, like, obsession with anything.
No, and they kind of do just talk about, like, the negative perceptions and, like, actions taken towards, like, a brony. You know, which, I mean, I expected, but yeah, I would rather it's seen kind of like another like different flip side of the fandom instead of just like
more of an objective take on it.
Just
like,
parents being like, "Not my son,
not my son. He ain't no queer."
Yeah, pretty much. Actually,
no, hanging out with a goddamn pony, man.
My dad's conservative. I'm gonna just.
Oh my god,
that's the best word
there's
to
like
describe
a 9-year-old kid describing.
He's 12.
Or 12-year-old. Is he a 12-year-old kid?
He's a 12-year-old.
Like, he doesn't even know what the fuck he's talking about. He heard his mom say it.
Yeah.
Like,
Because he's like, he was afraid to tell his parents he wanted to go to the BronyCon. And so he was, like, explaining, like, why he didn't tell his dad. He's like, let's say my dad's, like, conservative. Yeah, that's the word I'll use. Conservative.
And they also showed his mother almost saying verbatim the same thing, like, a few moments before that.
Yeah.
So it's obviously something him and his mom had talked about, because his mom knew about this My Little Pony fandom.
Yeah, but I think the one cool thing that they did show was, like, when the dad was like, no, I'm gonna go with him to this.
Yeah.
And then John Delancey met them and was like, let me introduce you to another dad of a brony. And then they talked, and the dad was just kind of like, with it.
Yeah. Well, no, because it's...
So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's definitely a good thing. But just the fact that his dad went there, whether it was pressure or not, because there was a documentary happening.
Like, oh, shit.
And he's like, well, I guess I gotta go. Like, I don't want to seem like... I don't want to be that guy.
I don't want to be heartless.
But he went. He still went. Like, but the thing... For me, as the audience, as the viewer, as somebody wanting to understand that subculture better, like, there was nothing there. They didn't say anything, like, when they interview the people about why they like My Little Pony, they all give this very same basic answer. It's like, oh, it teaches good values, and it's just, like, very broad life lessons, and, like, it's just positive. It's a very positive show.
Yeah, there wasn't really any depth to their answers.
Yeah. Which is... unfortunate for me, wanting to understand more, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe I just have to watch it and, like, see for myself or something. I don't know. I can't imagine that is going to be something I'd ever be like, oh, yeah.
No, because the few clips they showed, I was even like, I made the joke that our kids would never watch it.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. And you probably will disagree with me.
Yeah.
I would rather if I had, like, a 6 or 7 year old kid, I'd rather them watch My Little Pony than watch, like, Adventure Time.
I would never let a 6, 7-year-old watch Adventure Time.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
there's an audience. That show is specifically created for children of that age, and it talks about things that it's very on the nose. It's very broad. Everything's in very broad sweeps as far as morality goes.
Adventure Time teaches you the importance of burritos, though.
Yeah.
Which is something I would love my child to know.
Adventure Time.
You love that burrito to
I
no
think
end.
like 70% of the time it's totally appropriate, but it's that 30% of like weird subversive shit they do.
A lot of it being sexual.
Very clearly intended for adults, but it's too obvious for me. Like, that's too obvious. It's more obvious than like Pixar movies, like when they do that.
Oh,
shit
yeah.
too. Like, and the thing that frustrates me about that show, it does not represent the best moments of the show. It doesn't. So, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you're gonna make a fucking kids show, just make a kids show. Like, and it's fine. Like, why is there such a shame in like the animation community of making like a children's show? Like, it's almost what it feels like. Like, we have to be edgy and subversive. And, like, when I grew up liking the edgy, subversive shows.
Yeah.
I did, because, like, that...
The Simpsons.
No. I'm not talking about... Because that Simpsons was always for adults.
Yeah.
There was never any confusion of who that audience was for.
Okay.
But, like, when you watch Nickelodeon, you watch, like, in the afternoon, and you're watching, like, Rocko's Modern Life.
Oh, yeah.
And
Hell
All
yeah.
Real Monsters, or Rugrats.
I wasn't allowed to watch All Real Monsters. Greg hated that show, so I wasn't allowed to watch it.
Oh, it sucks for you, because it was pretty sweet.
But I did watch Rocko's Modern Life a lot.
Rocko's Modern Life or Ren and Stimpy. Ren and
Stimpy, oh my god.
When that came out on DVD, has a parental warning sticker on the box. Like, and that was not even prime time, that's like afternoon kids shows.
Yeah.
It was in that block of shows that was like after school shit from like 4 to 8.
Yeah.
It was, and those were some of the, because they were older when I was a kid, they were older shows, and they were in syndication. So they were on earlier, because all their newer stuff was just like between 6 and 8 o'clock. So, like, I don't know. So I kind of appreciate that, like, even the creator from the show, from what they said and everything, no, this is specifically for children. And that's almost why why it's so even odd to them that, like, that this subculture grew of adults that were into it.
Yeah.
Like, even they're, like, they were surprised. Because they've made that show a massive hit. And, like, and especially in terms of, like, merchandising and stuff like that, that's why that show was successful, was because of the adult crowd.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm going to argue that's kind of what My Little Pony's become in a weird way.
No, but that's what I'm talking
about.
I'm talking about My Little Pony.
I know. Okay. Whoa.
What, did you think I was still talking about Adventure Time?
No, Ren and Stimpy.
No, I wasn't talking about Ren and Stimpy anymore.
Maybe I dozed off for a second. Oh, womp womp.
No, but it's just, I don't know. Like, yeah, so that's an adult fan base grew out of it. That was weird. No, why would it be weird if Ren and Stimpy had, like, if adults liked Ren and Stimpy?
Nothing. Okay.
John Kay was very clearly, like, making his version of Tex Avery cartoons, which were also not really for kids.
That's true.
Like, animation has a long storied history of not really being for kids. Outside of, like, Disney.
Yeah. That's very true.
But yeah.
I don't know. I don't, like, that documentary, too, it was just, it showed, like, the several different outlets and ways that the, I guess, fans, the bronies, like go into, like, artwork and music and...
Yeah, like, just like any other fan.
Yeah, I know, but I just kind of didn't care. Like, I was just like,
No, for me, that stuff is interesting, but that's, like, half the story for me.
Yeah.
Because I want to see, the thing that I want to see, and I think is, like, responsible, if you were, like, a documentary filmmaker, and these are your subjects, there is obviously negative fallout from, like, some of this stuff. Because of some of these people are, literally, they're obsessive.
Yeah, well, it's like, or it's kind of, like, especially with My Little Pony, like, it leads to some dark places.
I mean, well, yeah, it does. As
I've
far as,
seen
like,
it.
people that are, like kind of like more furries, but even furries will have the distinction between like pervert furries and regular furries. Like, so I don't like, even though the furry argument's a little weak because like you're just talking about being attracted to animals. Like, you can't really disassociate sexuality from that. Like, you're sexually attracted to
a fox.
Well, not. It's like anthropomorphic.
Yeah.
Animals, foxes.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh my god. It just makes me feel so weird thinking about that. Like, makes me feel bad about my childhood crush on Robin Hood.
Yeah, you should feel bad. You're a furry.
I'm not a furry.
You're a furry. I'm sure you could find a convention.
Yeah, no thanks.
But yeah, no. What I mean is like, but like they should show that other side, even not even necessarily like the seedy side of it. I mean, just like what it does to their lives and their social lives and like their sense of belonging, because some of them wrap their identity
in it
up so much in it that they can't like exist outside of like that fan base.
Well, yeah, it's like that guy who lives in the South and I think.
Well, he had friends. No, he had friends and stuff like that. He was like the most quote unquote normal.
Maybe more so the British guy. With Asperger's.
The guy with Asperger's, but there's like this really, the most popular My Little Pony DJ, or musician, makes songs about My Little Pony and using sound clips and stuff like that. He kind of just says like, I have no friends and I spend time chatting with people online on the forums and stuff like that. That's his entire 100% of his time is dedicated to that.
Yep.
And his social outlet is that. But like, there's a difference between
and that couple, the couple that makes the models of My Little Ponies together. Her dad was like, I don't understand it. Two crazy people found each other because they just spend all their time singing My Little Pony songs to each other and watching it when they're not making little figurines. Yeah, weird.
Well, it's like I have a problem with anybody that like. Well, I guess to say I have a problem is like it's an exaggeration. Yeah. But like I take issue with the idea of anybody, and then I'm talking about like whether you're a fan of something or your sexual orientation or whatever. When people like use those things as their defining qualities, like I don't understand that. Like, because you're not only you're selling yourself short, and then you're making excuses for your behavior, like why you act a certain way. Like and then you develop problems over time. Like you develop disorders and stuff like that. It's self-created. It's self-perpetuating. Like, a lot of people do that, and it's not just limited to like nerdy fan bases and such. But yeah, I was kind of disappointed they didn't go into that stuff because they go into slightly the quote unquote persecution that people go through. And this kid, he's from North Carolina, I believe. Yeah, he's in North Carolina. It's a really very very small town. He basically spouted off a bunch of like Southern stereotype stuff. Yeah. About rednecks, big trucks, and I don't want to be like, why don't I have anything to prove to you? Just very, very typical, like when you're younger and you're surrounded by a certain type of people, you're rebelling against them. Like, I'm not going to drive a truck, I don't care, I don't have anything to prove to you.
Fuck your Confederate flag.
Yeah, and like kind of stuff. And he had gotten My Little Pony decals on the back of his, like...
They were pretty fantastic.
His car. And then he told the story about, like, all these...
Bikers.
Southern hillbillies. Yeah. Surrounding him in like a supermarket parking lot.
A gas station parking lot.
A gas station parking lot, rather, and like smashing in the back of his window decal and like threatening to kill him.
Like had a gun pointed at him.
And I was like, this all happened in a fucking gas station? Like, I don't know, man. I think you're lying.
Well, no, and then he was like, and then I had to lie to my dad.
Yeah, and then I had to tell my dad that I drove off the road. And I was like, maybe I think he might have just drove off the road. Yeah. I don't know if I'd buy that story. Even in small southern towns, like people generally, like this day and age, wouldn't be like, because nobody else would have any idea why they were there. Like if you just saw somebody in a parking lot smashing some dude's car up and then pulling out a gun, like
you'd say
the other people in the gas station wouldn't know that whether, like, say, like they would have been the same way if they knew he was about over My Little Pony. Well, they wouldn't know that at the time. They'd probably just call the police from inside of the gas station.
Yeah, and then what's funny too is he was also talking about the guy with who pointed the gun at him was like, you get rid of this faggy pony shit,
yeah. Yeah, very like specific shit. Like I was like, I don't know, kid. I think you're lying. I think he's lying. I think he's full of shit.
And then I liked his one friend who was, like, kind of talking about him, being like, I don't really care about what he likes, and, like, he goes against the grain. He had a shirt that said, like, redneck on it. Mm-hmm. And I was like,
Some rednecks are very progressive. Apparently.
Yeah.
Very accepting, some of them.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, so
only a percentage of them. The rest bash in windows and point guns at you.
Yeah. So that was like the story of persecution that was shared. And then they did this thing where like it shows that bronies are involved in charities. Like, okay, like
yeah, like this terminally ill boy gets like like My Little Pony memorabilia sent to him in like cards and get well emails.
And they sent him money to help out, with his. And even one of the voice actresses went to the kid's house.
Gave him a stuffed animal.
His name was Grayson.
Probably after Dick.
Probably is after Dick. Well, I hope so. He's going to die soon, so.
Ooh,
Robin. But yeah, I was kind of disappointed with it.
Yeah, I was excited because I was too. It was kind of like this is some part of like. And at one point during it, towards the beginning, I was like, I can't really laugh at these people because I've been to Transformers conventions.
Yeah, well, when I saw the title.
Yeah.
When I saw it and I put it in the queue.
Yeah.
I giggled a little bit. I was like, ha ha ha. This should be sweet.
Yeah,
like, this should be interesting. But in my real heart of heart, I just was curious.
Yeah, because when you told me last night that's what we were watching, you were like, "We're gonna watch a Brony documentary." I was like, "What?"
I have a hard time now. Maybe that's just part of getting older or something. I don't like watching TV shows that are predicated on me laughing at people.
Yeah.
I mean in a reality sense,
in a rude way.
Documentaries, reality TV. I would not get enjoyment out of watching Honey Boo Boo or something like that. That wouldn't bring me joy. It just makes me kind of sad.
Makes you. Well, you always say I feel sick.
Sometimes it does make me feel sick, but I'm not it's not my feelings of nausea or whatever are not from being repelled by these human beings. It's being repelled by the situation.
Yeah.
By the idea that there is this reality TV that is very producers and stuff. The entire machine of it is very self-aware.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
And it's mocking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's I kind of have a problem with that stuff now, ideologically, I guess.
No, I agree.
And I just don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy it anymore. There was a time I would have laughed really hard, just along with everybody else.
Yeah.
But now I can't really do it anymore.
You're such an old man.
I know. Yeah, so that's that was the Brony documentary discussion. Really long.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, we sidetracked into Star Trek and stuff too. You gotta remember that.
That's right. Because we try to reach all quadrants of available discussion on any given topic.
I think in these 19 podcasts we've talked about everything.
Almost everything in existence.
Yes.
Almost everything in existence. But that's not all we've watched for television. I guess we could talk about the other show we've been watching briefly.
Yeah.
We caught up on Key and Peele,
which is great.
Which is something I'd seen some of the first season when it was first aired.
Right.
And kind of never caught back up with it. And we got Hulu Plus, like we said a bunch of times before.
You just like to say that we have Hulu Plus
now. We are proud subscribers to the Hulu Plus service.
You trying to get us a sponsorship or something?
That would be sweet.
Now sponsored by Hulu Plus.
Oh, I wish Netflix would sponsor me. I'll just talk about what's on your streaming service. I should send them a letter.
I think Steam used to be sponsored by Steam.
Well, yeah. A lot of people... Some of you will know this on Facebook. I remind my friends of something, I let people know if something is on sale that's good.
Be a paragraph at a time.
No, I give the prices and I say this is a really good game and this is why.
They should hire you.
They should. As a public relations person.
Anyway, yeah, but Key and Peele. It's something I've only caught a couple times, off the fly, and then we started watching it, and I.
But let's be honest. Let's be honest. Let's just say what everybody needs to say. What everybody wants to say. What everybody knows in their heart but might not admit. It is the Poor Man Chappelle Show.
Yeah, it is the Poor Man Chappelle Show. I agree.
It is.
Because it's also very hit or miss.
It is. And when they miss big.
Yeah, you're just kind of
Yeah, there is not really too much in the middle with them.
No.
It's either I'm really laughing or I'm rolling my eyes.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
The Ratatouille skit.
The Ratatouille. That's the thing we were talking about last night. Because just like most sketch shows and most sketch shows that are like have that's people like different color, different ethnicities and stuff like that. They like to touch on that kind of race,
Yeah.
and like politics and social stuff. And whenever a lot of their stuff is very hacky when it comes to that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like white people do stuff like this, and black people do stuff like this, and then everybody laughs.
Yeah, kinda.
And that's kind of it. Which is disappointing because they seem like they're a lot smart.
They're so smart.
They're better. I think they're better comedians than that, and I think they have they're better writers than that. And I think they just let themselves down by taking the easy road.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
No, I agree.
Which is understandable, I guess, when you're making you have to produce 13 episodes of a sketch show. You're gonna have to do just some fucking throwaway stuff.
Yeah.
Because because
Chappelle even did kind of.
But never.
Not to the degree though. But
Listen,
I'm just
maybe Dave Chappelle was right. He's like, fucking 2 seasons, I'm done.
I'm going to Africa, guys.
Because it's hard to sustain. It is. Especially with sketch comedy, it's hard to
Yeah,
sustain.
especially because as you get more popular, there's more of a demand put on you, I'm sure, especially by...
And there's an expectation.
Yeah, especially by the channel and the companies and,
Because Key and Peele is arguably, I think they are about as popular as Chappelle's show was. I think it's like the second most popular.
Yeah, everyone at my work, when I said we were watching Key and Peele, I got the response from half the kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah, because everybody watches it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just much like the way the Chappelle show was when I was in high school.
Yeah, I know. Everyone.
After it was we used to be on Wednesday nights, Thursday morning, everybody's talking about
what happened on Chappelle.
Yeah.
That's how it was in my school, too.
Yeah. Because a lot of but the funniest stuff is they're very broad stuff with very, silly characters and stuff like that. But that generally is the funnier material.
I still have only met one person that knew the Ratatouille skit, though. Which is by far, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, if you just look up Key and Peele or Ratatouille.
I did on my phone on YouTube. Couldn't find it.
Couldn't find the clip? Really?
So I don't know if you can find it, but good luck if you do.
Or you should, maybe if you go to, Comedy Central.
It's season 3.
Is that season 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because
one of the, first couple episodes, too.
Yeah.
It was one of the first when we started watching.
It was one of the, I think it was the first or second one we watched together, yeah.
Which was 3rd season, so I think it was within the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, it's generally very, very good, very entertaining.
And I love when Peele is a girl.
Yeah, I do. Even though
God!
I'm really surprised though, that they don't come under any scrutiny for some of their stuff. Because they deal a lot in gay stereotypes.
Yeah.
They deal a lot in
the guy in The Office.
That was actually really funny.
Yeah.
That was a really funny sketch. But they deal a lot in that stuff, and they do very broad caricatures.
Yeah.
Of different ethnicities and stuff like that. I'm just surprised.
The Middle Eastern guys.
Which are really funny. Those are some of my favorites too. But I'm just surprised just because it's today's day and age and everything gets picked apart for being sexist and racist and misogynist. I'm just kind of surprised that they don't catch any flack.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
I think because even Dave Chappelle caught flack.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Especially for probably the blind black guy who was in the KKK.
It's just one of the funniest things he did.
Yeah, I know.
It was hilarious.
You're married to... Oh my god. Okay, sorry.
It was, I don't know.
Just replaying some bits in my head.
Oh my god. The Chappelle show is something that I will still go back and watch. Yeah,
we did the first time when I came to meet your family down here.
Yeah, we watched an entire season.
Me, you, and your brother.
Yeah.
Just watched all of season 1 within the couple days we were here. We were only here a couple days.
Yeah. Yeah, Chappelle show holds up. It's a very solid show.
Chappelle show.
And then we caught back up with Tosh.0, and that
still holds up for me.
It does. They've changed his format a little bit, and which is good because you should change your format. When you're 5 seasons in or whatever, and he does 30 episodes a year or a season.
Yeah. Which
is I think there's only a 2-month break or something like that between seasons. This is one of their it's always on, I guess. I think. But anyways, yeah, because I'd kind of fallen out with that show for a while because I really liked it when it first came on.
No, me too.
I really, really liked it, and then I think I probably watched it for 2 years, and then I was kind of
over it.
Yeah, I was just because it's very samey. It's a lot of the same jokes and stuff. He mines a lot of the same territory over and over.
Yeah.
But actually, I was pleasantly surprised going back and watching it, how much I enjoyed it. But yeah, that's it for that. New on Netflix that you should watch is the Brady Bunch movie.
Which is what we're probably gonna watch tonight.
Yes, the mid-90s spoof on the Brady Bunch.
Pretty excited.
Pretty exciting stuff. But yeah, well, let's get into the movies we saw.
Okay.
First one, American Hustle, directed by David O. Russell. That's his name.
That sounds like a made-up name.
Starring Bradley Cooper, Christian Bale. Jennifer Lawrence. J-Law.
That's as Shaun calls her.
And Amy Adams. Yeah, B. Coops and J-Law.
Yeah.
And Amy Adams. Decent.
Yeah, it was alright. I was really into it when it first started, and then towards the end I felt like it was dragging.
See, I never felt that it was dragging. I never got that sense.
I did. I just was kind of like...
It just felt really... I say this a lot on this show, but like I think a lot of movies suffer from this, is poor pacing.
Yeah.
It doesn't... I never felt like things were escalating.
Right, but they should have been.
But you should have felt like the tension growing as like the kind of walls crumbling, and as the case was getting more tense and people were going to get found out or whatever, whatever you want to call it. But like you would have imagined there would have been some sort of tension built there, and it just never really felt that way. And I think that a lot of that is because the movie's so light. It's like kind of trapped between like comedic moments and dramatic moments, and doesn't know how to really reconcile them, and doesn't know how to pull your attention correctly. Because you never know if this is supposed to be a funny scene or if this is am I supposed to take the scene seriously?
Seriously, yeah.
But overall, it's a very enjoyable movie, though, I'll say. And I think a lot of that has to do with just the cast. Like, it has a very good cast. And they're all giving, like, fun performances.
Yeah, I liked Christian Bale a lot.
Christian Bale's great.
With his toupee.
Christian Bale catches a lot of shit, but Christian Bale's, like, he's a really great actor. Like, in like, the traditional sense.
Shaun, you're standing in my light.
Well, outside of that. Like, divorced from who they are as real people, because I assume they're probably all assholes.
Not be Coops.
Not be Coops. God, no. No! But, like, that's, like, the draw of that movie is that cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget Renner.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner's in it, too, and Jeremy Renner's pretty good.
Don't forget De Niro.
Yeah, and De Niro makes a cameo. It's got a couple others.
I was surprised by De Niro. I didn't realize he was in that.
Neither did I. I had no idea, because I don't think they...
Build him at all.
They didn't. He's supposed to be a surprise.
Oh.
Sorry, America. You've been hustled.
I apologize.
Spoil the shit out of it. Whatever. Whatever.
Whatever.
No, but like it's entertaining. Like I was entertained. But,
yeah,
like,
I was, but like I said, towards the end of it, I was just like, end.
Yeah, I wasn't overly impressed by it or anything. But like, it was fun to watch like Christian Bale like give like a performance, and that's kind of the same way like David O. Russell's other movie, the one he did before, Silver Linings Playbook.
Silver Linings Gay Book.
Yeah, before that one, he did The Fighter, which also had Christian Bale.
I didn't see The Fighter,
which is it's better than American Hustle in my opinion. It just works better as a movie. It's a very stereotypical like
I like
sports movie, but like but Christian Bale gives like a really great performance in it. He's like the performance to watch. He steals the movie. Yeah. And I think he kind of does the same thing here, even though he's more of the lead in this. He's not the lead in The Fighter. He's like he's a side character.
Wahlberg's the lead in The Fighter, right?
Yeah. Well, it's him and Christian Bale are arguably the co-leads of the movie.
Because they're brothers, right?
Yeah, they play brothers. Amy Adams also in The Fighter.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. The Fighter's good, actually. We should watch it sometime. It's not a bad movie.
And I liked Silver Linings Playbook until the end.
Yeah, Silver Linings Playbook is a strong hour, and then it kind of just falls apart at the end when they decide to make it like a very by the book rom-com. Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah.
It felt weird in the movie that you're like, how is this happening in the movie we've been watching?
Yeah, no, totally.
Because it almost turns into like a fantasy. Like you're like, oh, should not work out this way.
Yeah, no, totally.
But I don't know. Maybe that's them being like, "Oh, fuck you, you cynical assholes!" Like,
yeah, you can get through bipolar.
Let B. Coops be happy. God damn it.
Bipolar people can be happy too.
It's like we're not perfect, but we're human beings.
Oh my god,
that's the kind of statement it was making.
Terrible.
But yeah, I don't know.
I recommend it.
I would say it's a rental. I wouldn't go see it in the theater.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a rental. But a worthwhile rental. It's not like, I don't think anybody would be disappointed in it, really.
Yeah, I think you'll at least leave and be like, that was okay.
Well, it's funny because, speaking of just because we saw this in Wolf of Wall Street, these movies are somehow, for some reason, being, like, compared heavily.
Really?
For kind of weird reasons. Because, like, American Hustle people feel is like a ripoff of, like Goodfellas. Like a Goodfellas style, like a Scorsese style movie.
Oh, really? But I can't say anything because I've never seen Goodfellas.
Yeah, Sarah's got a lot missing from her Scorsese informations. Unfortunately for her.
Whatever.
Unfortunately for her.
Whatever.
Gotta get out there and watch some Scorsese movies, man. I think I've seen every Scorsese movie.
Good for you.
Yeah. Even The Importance of Being Earnest.
Do your eyebrows grow bigger every time you see a Scorsese film?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
And I feel better about myself. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, American Hustle is, like, hard to talk about in a way just because it really is just, like, it's just the cast.
Yeah.
They make the movie worthwhile.
They make it work.
They make it work, yeah. It's just kind of paced poorly, and it's a little, like, tonally inconsistent, but, like, overall, I was fine with it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think American Hustle is going to be the Academy Award, is going to win Best Picture. It's going to be one of those, because a lot of times, Academy Awards, this kind of movie would win.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Argo, or...
Which we were kind
Actually, it's a good, that's a good, comparison, right? Like, American Hustle and Argo. Both, decent, semi-comedy dramas.
But it's the cast that...
Yeah, the cast makes it work. But both of them, because when we watched Argo way after, we saw it, a couple months after the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
And we're like, wow, this is, a Best Picture movie?
Yeah.
They're like, really?
No, totally, yeah.
Yeah, because we were watching it, and we're like, it was fine.
But it wasn't
that's not some sort of great cinematic experience.
It didn't, blow me out of my seat.
Yeah, yeah. So it was kind of, disappointing in that same way, I guess. But a lot of people think American Hustle is probably going to win Best Picture, and it'll be one of those things where people look back and be like, why the fuck did that movie win that year,
Yeah, especially when you have something like Wolf of Wall Street.
yeah, which Wolf of Wall Street, I like it quite a bit.
I liked it a lot. I did not feel like it was a 3-hour movie.
No, it's a really quick 3 hours. It is. It's a really quick 3 hours.
Which, for my attention span, that's fantastic.
I was slightly underwhelmed by it. Not because I think I had kind of expectations for that, and I don't normally. I usually have my expectations pretty good in check, but the idea of a new Martin Scorsese movie that looked like as much fun and energetic and stuff as the trailers and stuff, and had made it seem, and and I had kind of skimmed over a few reviews and things like that. I was slightly underwhelmed by it to a certain degree. I don't think. It kind of has a similar problem of, the sense of escalation is not really there. It feels like it's bookended by, the beginning of his life for 20 minutes, and then the fall for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then in the middle, it's just debauchery.
It's very crude, too.
Yeah, it's a super crude movie, because it's supposed to reflect those type of people.
Yeah, I know. I loved it, though. We had people walk out of the theater because they were offended.
Well, we had a couple of older...
an
old lady didn't want to watch it, and she left within 5 minutes. I mean,
Yeah.
As soon as Matthew McConaughey's scene was halfway through, she left.
Yeah.
So I mean, but which is fine.
That was her loss.
Because that movie's not going to be marketed. It's almost like the marketing of that movie does not lead you to think that movie is going to be as crude as it is.
No, totally not.
It is. It's super crude.
I didn't think it was going to be a crude movie at all.
I mean, you see Jonah Hill's I'm sure his fake penis, but him whacking off. I don't think anybody thought that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But, overall, I really loved it. Yeah, I really, 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 really loved it. I don't know, a lot of people... There's, two... Do you feel that movie is glorifying those characters?
No.
At all? When you watched it, did you feel like you were supposed to, think this was fun?
No.
No?
No, I didn't feel that way, at least.
Well, because some people...
Because I know it's from a book, right?
Well, it's a true story.
It's a true story, but, I don't think it painted it as, like, I think for a little bit I was kind of sympathetic with Leonardo DiCaprio's character for a little while. Like, I was like, you know, he was, like, this guy who just fought his way up and, like, but then after that I was like, what he became is not what you, like...
Well, I see, one of the things I had a problem with the movie is I didn't feel like his build up to being, like, a corrupt asshole was done very well, or very clear.
No, I mean, it was very quick. It was
he basically
very quick.
has a lunch with Matthew McConaughey who tells him how it is.
And then they just hum for a while, which is awesome.
Yeah, which is a great scene. And then after that, that's it. Like,
yeah, you don't see what really happens.
And then he gets laid off, and then he finds this penny stock company that he works for them, and he's corrupt.
Yeah.
I mean,
or he knows how to hustle.
He's honestly corrupt because he's doing it within the bounds of the law at first, and for a long time,
and then becomes untouchable. But really,
because they're just basically just duping people into buying too much of crap stocks and shit like that. But they're not lying about anything really. It's not until later when they get into like fraud and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it was a very quick jump to that.
Yeah, no, because the movie just wants to rush to that and let's get started there. We gotta get to the debauchery kind of thing. And I think like part of the function of it being as long as it is that it makes you feel exhausted, like on purpose.
Okay.
Like just having so many party scenes and so much like excess being like thrown everywhere and seeing these guys kind of get away with it time and time again. I think it's supposed to build like a fatigue and frustration inside of you because it's something that everybody could fall victim to, and everybody's like attracted to like certain things like fun and power and shit like that, and especially like the idea of like doing like cocaine or doing drugs and stuff like that. Like shit's fun. Like
drinking all the time.
It can be fun.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason for them to be like downer about it. It doesn't have to be seedy and fucking gross and. Like most of the time, like whenever heavy drug use is depicted, it's depicted
like in
as
a like dirty like
yeah, it's like what is it called? Requiem for a Dream. Like, you know, like but
with like intense violin music always playing.
but the reality of like just like doing a lot of party drugs and stuff like that is like you have a lot of good times. Like a lot of it is fun and funny and fucked up and shit like that.
Yeah.
And like and the movie doesn't like shy away from like the fact that it's fun. To me, like I didn't feel like it was condoning it or condemning it.
Yeah.
Like types of behavior. Maybe that's I think why a lot of people have a hard time. Because it's surprising enough, people have like kind of had a hard time with this movie.
Really?
Yeah, which I was kind of surprised because there is a contingent out there that feels like it's a glorification of the behavior and it's like somehow lionizing like James Belfort.
Yeah.
Because he's a guy who got away with it.
Yeah.
He got away with it, really. He spent fucking 18 months in jail for everything he did.
True.
And now, he still dupes people by just being a public speaker. Like, and that's the whole thing, well, I imagine people must kind of know the end. It's a true story.
Yeah.
But at the end of the film, when he gets out of jail and you see him when he's slightly older and he's giving like this conference to salesmen about how to sell shit, basically.
He's duping them out of their money.
And like he's doing his spiel and stuff, and then there's like there's a really long held shot on just the audience.
Yeah.
And I think that's supposed to be like a statement about us, the audience, watching the movie.
Yeah. And
about how we kind of allow shucksters to do that kind of stuff to us. And in a weird way.
Yeah, I would say so.
Because we passively watch somebody fuck other people. You know what I mean? Like we do. Like in society we do. Like especially when it came like the first time anybody has ever done anything about like Wall Street stuff was like the Occupy Wall Street movement and stuff. Like that's the first time people had ever become upset enough to at least do something, right? But this stuff had been going on for years.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a new phenomenon like Wall Street people getting away with shit. Like in banks getting away with shit.
No,
like,
I agree.
It's not a new phenomenon. Like it had been going on for a long time. This story takes place in the 80s and there's a lot of similarities, a lot of crossover. And like but even though like the Occupy movement was just like really ineffectual, like
I don't even want to get into it.
Yeah, it's just a lot of trust fund kids like with free time
and markers and poster board.
Yeah, Nutrimilk Hotel, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess, I mean, that's the kind of thing I think the movie was kind of like trying to like make a point about.
No, I didn't even
public responsibility.
I didn't even really think about that until you just said it, but I think that's very clever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't think about it immediately after I saw it. I was just thinking about it after the fact. And I was like, oh, maybe that's kind of what that is. I mean, it's kind of a movie you need to watch like twice, maybe, to like really pick up on probably the subtle nuances of like the shifts in the film.
Yeah.
Because when you're watching it, it's like very episodic in really weird ways.
Yeah.
Where they go, I mean, there's a scene in the movie where they take too much of these crazy quaaludes, and it probably goes on for like 15 to 20 minutes.
It was pretty fun.
But it's a really funny scene.
Yeah.
It probably goes on for like, it's like a 15 to 20 minute extended comedy scene.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of your or not serious, but like you're in the middle of the movie, the whole movie stops.
Yeah.
For like 15 minutes, so they can just do this physical comedy, like Quaalude jokes.
Yeah.
And it works. It works.
No, it totally
works.
works.
But like, there's a lot of like, I guess, segments like that in the movie where the kind of movie just stops for fun.
Yeah.
And then all right, we'll continue again. And even the movie itself...
Maybe that's also kind of commenting on, like, the lifestyle, where, like, you know what, everything else stops, we're going to do excess and fun and crazy, and then get back to business. And that's kind of, like, showing you, like, in a, like, sense, like...
Yeah.
It's kind of nod to that.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit, yeah. But yeah, it's something that I need to. I feel like that's something. Like,
I'd love to watch it again.
I felt underwhelmed when I watched it, but I feel like if I watched it again, I think it'll be one that it'll be one of my favorites, like over the years.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that like needs to sit with you and kind of grow on you a little bit.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I need to watch it again.
This is a 3-hour movie, and it's really dense. A lot of stuff happens in that movie, and the movie even tells you that like we're not going to explain it to you, like because you don't care.
Yeah.
And
he literally says that.
No, he literally says it to the camera.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to explain it to you because you don't care.
Yeah. And you don't understand. You know?
Yeah, he's like, you're not going to understand. So, like...
He's like, you're not even listening to me.
Yeah. And so the movie makes a point about being like, listen, we were doing bad shit. Almost verbatim, this is what they say. Like, we were doing some bad shit, and this is what happened.
Yeah.
Like, in very broad strokes. Like, we're not going to get into the specifics of it. We were committing crime.
I wish everyone could see that you're doing a Jedi mind trick movement right now. You're like waving your hand side to side. You don't care about this movie.
You don't care about what's going on with the specifics of the story. But I think at a certain point, though, like, that kind of... Even though they're very upfront about, like, we're not really going to explain anything to you, I think it kind of hurts it a little bit.
Really? I didn't think so.
Because I think you need to know, like, the depth of what they're doing beyond, like, we fuck people over. Like, I think there needed to be some, like...
You think there should be more involvement with the cop?
Well, that feels like there was entire sections of that were cut out of the movie. I just felt that way watching it. I was like, wow, I think there's a lot with, like, the subplot with the FBI guy that was cut out.
Yeah.
It just feels like there was a bigger part of the movie. And apparently they had a really hard time getting it to 3 hours. And they even thought about splitting it into, like, two movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Two movies?
Yeah. Like, do, like, 2.5 hour movies.
Oh, because it's too much stuff.
Yeah, because they had a hard time getting it to 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, and maybe who knows, maybe they'll release, like, an extended version, even though I don't think Martin Scorsese has ever done that, but
maybe
he would with this one if he couldn't.
The director's cut or something.
Well, he doesn't do... Martin Scorsese is one of those guys who's like, no, the movie you see is my director's cut. He doesn't believe in, like, director's cuts. But he's in a privileged position. He's Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
People generally let him do what he wants.
These brows tell you what to do.
Well, he seems like one of the nicest people in the world, though.
No, I know. I like listening to his interviews.
Yeah.
Marty. That's what Greg and I call him. What's Marty talking about?
But, like, it's... I don't know. It's got a lot in common with his other films, like Goodfellas, which you haven't seen. In Casino as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I've only...
Have you ever seen Casino?
No.
What the hell's wrong with you?
I've only seen Taxi Driver.
Well, see, those movies are...
I love Taxi Driver.
But what they have in common is about people that, like, are criminals. They do a lot of horrible shit and ruin everybody's lives around them, but they kind of get off with a slap to the wrist. Yeah. All three of the main protagonists of those movies kind of get away with it.
Yeah.
Like, and they're all based on true stories.
Yeah. No, I don't... But Taxi Driver is one of my favorite movies of all time. Probably my top 10.
Okay.
That's the only one I've really seen, though. I know, and knowing who my uncle Greg, knowing him, I'm surprised I have not been made to watch more Martin Scorsese, because he loved Martin Scorsese. And I saw Taxi Driver actually independently of him, so I don't know what Greg, what are you doing to me?
I don't know.
Maybe we'll have a Scorsese day.
Yeah, I own most of his movies. I own a lot of the Scorsese flicks. I can't remember.
No, but Wolf of Wall Street was good. I like it.
Okay, yeah. I don't know, it completes like kind of an unofficial trilogy for him, is what I was trying to say.
Really?
With Goodfellas, Casino, and now Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay.
All very similar themes and similar end games, I guess. See, like, they're just kind of like explorations of, I don't know, crooked lifestyle to a certain degree.
Yeah.
The thing that's different about Wolf of Wall Street is very intentionally, like, comedic. Like, it is more than anything else, it feels like a comedy.
It does,
Like,
yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio's giving a very big, broad performance. Jonah Hill is giving a very caricature, like,
I
broad
love
performance.
his teeth in it are fantastic.
But he's great, actually. Jonah Hill is really good.
Yeah, I think I kind of said this after we left the theater. Like, I was like, I usually don't like him, but he wasn't that bad in this. He usually gets kind of on my nerves sometimes.
Actually, I've seen like his other thing that he got recognized
Moneyball?
for. Moneyball is actually a pretty good movie. And Jonah Hill's pretty good in it. Like he's definitely has more range than what the Apatow movies show you.
No, because I was gonna say the Apatow Jonah Hill usually got on my nerves because I was just like, shut up, stop whining.
See, I don't know. He never bothered me because he just plays those characters that are in those movies. Like somebody else is gonna play that character. Like
no, I know.
They always have them, so like it doesn't bother me. I guess like he didn't like 21 Jump Street. Did he bother you?
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, I more pay attention to Channing Tatum, but just saying. No, but like this is the end. I kind of like the character they gave him, where he's like kind of like the super like supposedly nice but kind of asshole. Like
yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because Jonah Hill, out of that group of people, is the only one that's been nominated for an Academy Award.
Yeah.
And he's friends with James Franco, who considers himself a very serious actor.
Serious artist.
Artist.
Yeah, don't say artist. Do you know what's funny, too? Rogan didn't get anything for Green Hornet. He should have been nominated,
Should have been nominated 1,000 times.
For Green Hornet. Yeah.
No, when Rogan went for the Oscar gold, it was the cancer movie.
Oh,
The hell is that with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which is actually a pretty good movie.
It's got Friends in the title.
Does it?
I think so.
I don't know.
I don't.
I call it the cancer movie.
The cancer movie. I never saw it.
Also starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
And it's like the cover's
him
shaving his head.
It's actually a pretty good movie. It's a good movie.
Okay, I never saw it. I wasn't interested.
But that's like that dramedy style.
That was his Punch Drunk Love?
That was his Punch Drunk Love to a large degree. You know, he plays himself.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, he plays himself. Not himself literally, but like the character he plays is just Seth Rogen.
Getting high all the time?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He plays himself.
He does a lot, I guess.
Yeah, that's what he does. And that's the thing I appreciate about Seth Rogen. He has no scruples about the fact that that's exactly what he does. And I think that was part of the joy of watching, like, This Is the End, is that they all just kind of admitted that they just kind of play the same character.
Yeah.
In a weird way. But anyways. But yeah, The Wolf of Wall Street is totally worth your time. You should go see it.
ASAP.
You should go see it twice.
Don't see it late at night, though. Actually, go see it late at night. It'll keep you awake.
Well, it's long. It's 3 hours long.
But like I said earlier,
it's a quick sit.
Yeah, it did not feel... Because usually with me, I have a hard time paying attention for that long. And it kept me.
Yeah, it keeps your attention. It moves. It's got a and part of that is because of the episodic quality of it. It's like there's always something new starting. Even though, like, and by the time you start feeling maybe it's getting redundant, it starts to wrap up.
Yeah.
So it's pretty well done in that respect, like, as far as, like, pacing and stuff. I do think it's a little bit muddled, because it wants to make a point, but it's also very concerned with making you laugh, which I think is sometimes at odds with itself.
Yeah.
In a few instances, I feel like it was kind of at odds with itself a little bit, like not being very clear. And I think that's probably what led to a lot of the confusion. Like, I can totally understand people walking out of that movie and getting the wrong idea about it. I think it walks that line really, really closely.
Yeah.
Like, it's just between, like, kind of making a judgment, saying or showing you that these guys are kind of shitty, and then also at the same time kind of edifying or glorification.
Yeah.
It could very easily come off that way if you're, like, in a particular mood or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Go with a very open mind.
Yeah, if you go with an open mind and, like, with the understanding that it is not, like, saying these guys are cool. Which I think is the thing a lot of Martin Scorsese movies come under fire for. Which movies you haven't seen, so it's hard to talk about with you.
I think, like...
Well, because it's
like... it happens with Taxi Driver. There are a lot of people that, like, kind of glorified Travis Bickle.
Well, those people are dumb.
No, I'm saying, but that was, like, the thing in high school, like, people would have posters of Travis Bickle on their wall and stuff.
Because they're stupid kids. Yeah.
No, I know, but I'm just saying it to a degree that was, like, kind of...
Yeah, because I have a feeling it's not because they love the art of cinema and how well the movie was made.
No.
They're like, Travis Bickle's cool.
No, I know. Well, and just...
No, I know I know exactly what you mean, but, like, his, like, Goodfellas and, like, Casino, also very good movies. Also very fun movies. They're not comedies, but they're very fun. And they got a really nice snappy pace to them. But people often, like, misinterpret it as glorification.
As opposed to
kind of just...
a gaze into.
A gaze into and just kind of showing you kind of for what it is.
Like how
like, because even the shittiest people could tell a good joke. Like, I've said this to you before. About, like, maybe Hitler was funny. Like, who knows? There was probably something about them that wasn't just the broad... The monster that we know.
Yeah.
And, like, there's a human being at the core of it.
Hitler was rejected from art school. That's my theory on why he went crazy.
Why he went crazy?
No, his watercolors were terrible. I've seen them. They're actually terrible. They're landscapes. They're pretty boring. He tried to apply for art university.
Well, yeah, and he couldn't do any better.
So, he was like, you know what? Screw everyone! I am superior. That's my theory on Hitler.
Historian Sarah Dillon. I think World War II could have totally been avoided.
If Hitler
had gotten
in art school. They were just like, Adolf will take you.
This is a good example of what happens when the other reindeers don't let Rudolph play.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying?
High five.
But yeah, well, I guess that's going to do it for us this week.
Sure. We do another one next week?
yeah, we will. We're gonna go see The Hobbit.
And then we gotta do our Bond because it's 20.
And we're gonna do Bond. I think we might do a special thing for Bond.
But 20 is such a round number.
Okay, well maybe
it's like, and it's such in our reach right now.
All right.
Like, look, I'm holding it.
That's true. Well, we'll
figure it out.
We'll do maybe like the Bond one, but we're not gonna be done with all of them.
Or will we?
Or will we? Maybe it'll be another month will go by. Alright, everybody, I'm Shaun.
I'm Sarah.
And thank you for listening. This is My Future Husband Facebook Podcast, episode 19. Goodbye.
Goodbye.